Hey everybody, welcome in. If this is your first video with me, welcome back if it is not. Either way, I'm really excited that you're here, and I'm really excited that you've decided to spend just a little bit of your day with me today. So today is the next video in our Disneyland trip series. We did so much cool stuff while we were out there. We had so many great experiences, but one that I have been really excited to talk to you guys about is the Princess Adventure Breakfast at Napa Rose. So if you are ready for a full review of this character breakfast experience at Disney's Grand Californian, then let's just get started, shall we? I'm Rachel, and this is Attainable Disney. Why? I need to fix that. Why didn't I fix that CVS tag? So let's talk about my ears. They are Marie ears. It's nothing to do with this video. I just like them. These are, again, my favorite $3 AliExpress ears. And I just love the little fluff. Nothing to do with the video, not on theme at all, but I like them. So, Disney's Princess Breakfast Adventure. I always forget the name of that, so I'm saying it over and over again. So this is a character dining experience at Napa Rose out at Disney's Grand Californian. This was a very difficult reservation to get. This is one of those ones where I was like checking every single day, and I took one and it was like the only one that popped up, and I like never saw another one, right? Like I think somebody canceled and I just kind of happened to be on the app at the right time and I just scooped it up, and I was very excited. I had to rearrange a lot of plans that day and like other reservations to make sure that we could go, but I was very excited. Napa Rose is a signature dining restaurant in the Grand Californian. So it's a very high-end, okay? It's very fancy, different than a lot of other Disney dining. They are only open for breakfast Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for this Princess Adventure. So it was a very unique experience to go in for breakfast. We didn't have any other meals there, so I can't necessarily compare. So the first thing that happens when you get there is when you check in with a hostess, they take you to like a lounge. Like they take you to a waiting area. You don't have to like sit outside the restaurant like you would maybe at other places. They take you to this lounge, and it's very serene. I don't want to say it's quiet because there's a man playing the guitar. He was playing a mix of Disney songs, like Disney princess songs and Christmas songs on his guitar. It was really sweet. At your table while you're waiting in the lounge, there's a princess theme like tic-tac-toe board on each table, so it keeps you very busy, like keeps you pretty occupied. It was really nice. It was one of those things that made it feel upscale, right? I don't have to sit on this bench outside the restaurant and wait for my reservation. Like I get to wait in this nice lounge. And once you checked in, they knew your name, and so they kind of like referred to us by name for the rest of the experience, which I again just thought was a really nice touch. So after we waited in this very serene lounge space, listening to the guitar music, playing Princess Tic-Tac-Toe, the staff came up and let us know that it was our turn to go spend some time with the princess. This part was fun. We didn't know like what princess we were going to meet, and it was just us. So it wasn't like they gathered a bunch of tables, like they took just us. And we went outside, and Ariel was outside. And so we were out on this it was a little patio that was off the back of the restaurant, and Ariel was out there, and she was so sweet and it was really cool. I've only ever met Ariel in her grotto, in her fin and seashell form. So I've never seen her in her like green dress outfit. So that was really fun. You'll be able to see it in some of the pictures, but there was a row of flowers on the ground, and the princess stayed on one side of flowers, and like we had to stay on the other. I thought that was really nice. It was a very sort of subtle way, I think, to keep that distance. And it was, it was just on the ground. So it wasn't like this rope, right? So you didn't feel like you were so far away. There wasn't a cast member telling you to like back up or stay away or whatever, right? Like it was very just sort of like subtle and sort of understood. And it was really no problem. Like I didn't feel like I was far away from her or anything. They do have a Disney PhotoPass photographer out there. We took a few selfies with Ariel, which was super fun. She's so cute. And then we went back inside to our table in the lounge, and we waited for a cast member to bring us to our table. And that was just another minute or two. So the cast member brought us to our table. It was so chic. It was so fancy. The coffee cups had the napkins in them shaped like roses. I mean, it was just, there were so many little details that were just exquisite. Like it just made you feel fancy. There was a tag on the table with our name on it. Like it was like reserved for us, you know. It was very fancy. So the waiter like put the napkin on my lap. I mean, it was the whole thing. I don't know. We don't go to fancy restaurants. So I was very like, you know, I felt very, you know, taken care of, right? I felt really good about it. You know, so they had a menu with fancy drinks on it, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. I love a good non-alcoholic, like fancy beverage. I've said before that I think that that's something that Disney does really well is, I don't know, mocktails, if you want to call it that, or just like non-alcoholic fancy beverages that aren't just like soda, right? Sometimes I think as someone who like doesn't drink, I think sometimes I can feel sort of like left out. I don't know, like I look at people's drinks and they're so like pretty and fun, and they put those light up cubes in them and they come in like a fun glass or whatever, and I'm like, I want that, but like I don't want the rum or whatever. So for them to have like a whole menu of like fancy non-alcoholic drinks was really, really fun. And the table got complimentary champagne, which Mike enjoyed. I did not, but Mike enjoyed the complimentary champagne. Complimentary champagne. The meal was 3 courses. So the cast member, the waiter, like explained it to us. It was 3 courses. There was an appetizer course that they brought to the table. The main meal was buffet, and then the last course was dessert that they again brought to the table. So they asked some questions just about like dietary restrictions. I mentioned in sort of an offhand way, like I said, I was like, well, I don't eat meat, but like I don't know if that counts. Like at a buffet, I don't really think about that because like it's a buffet, so there's just like choices. But I was like, well, I don't know, I don't eat meat. And he was like, okay, whatever. Came back a few minutes later with our drinks. Someone came very, very quickly with our first like appetizer course. So as you can see, I'll put the picture. It was like a ladder. I mean, it was very tall. I mean, it was as taller than us when we were sitting at the table. And it had multiple like layers of little appetizers, like little sort of bite size, right? 2 or 3 bites, little things. There was tiny little ham and cheese sandwiches, tiny little lobster rolls, tiny little scones, right? All kinds of really cute little, I don't know, finger foods, I guess maybe you would call them. Now, what I thought was incredible, what absolutely blew me away, was they brought me my own appetizer tower. They brought me my own appetizer plate, I guess I should say. So we got the same, right? So the appetizer towers, like for 2 people, like, right, like we didn't lose anything, but they brought an additional plate of the same appetizers made without meat, and they brought it just for me. So it was, instead of the ham little finger sandwich, it was like a little cucumber finger sandwich. And instead of the lobster roll, it was like a corn salsa in the same kind of sauce roll, right? So very similar treats, very similar foods, but without meat. And they brought it on a separate little plate, and they brought it to me, and they explained to me like what all of the things were, you know, and how they altered them so they didn't have meat in them. Which, I mean, like I said, it blew me away. But anyway, so to know that, you know, what I said was being, you know, was taken into consideration, and there was no guessing, right? So a lot of times, Mike is very used to this. Like, he has to bite something and I'm like, is there meat in it? Or we like inspect it, or we like go through it, you know, anytime we're at like a buffet or like appetizer kind of thing. And so to have like my own little plate of everything that I sort of knew was safe and I could just enjoy it and I didn't miss any of the experience, right? Like I got the same experience as everybody else. To have all of the little individual appetizers was really, really cool. So that made me feel really special. I don't know, really cared for, like really respected. So I love that. So when we were done, the waiter came and cleared all of that out. And then he said he would come back and tell us when it was our turn to go to the buffet, which again, I loved, right? You know, sometimes you go to those buffets and it's like, they're just so crowded and there's like 100,000 people and it just feels like cattle being like herded, you know? So I really liked that everybody was kind of going up sort of like 1 or 2 tables at a time, just so that it was a much sort of calmer, nicer sort of experience. So we went up. The main breakfast, or the main course, was your standard Disney breakfast, right? They had Mickey waffles, delicious Disney scrambled eggs. I swear to God, I don't know what Disney does different with their eggs, but they're always so good no matter where you go. You know, bacon, sausage, fruit, you know, the whole, right, standard breakfast buffet fare. And it didn't disappoint. It was delicious. I loved every bite of it. While we were eating, the chef came to our table. He brought us French fries, which I'm not gonna lie to you, I think the French fries were the best part of the meal, like the most delicious. So he brought this like basket of French fries with like different dipping sauces, and he like explained them all to us, you know, the different sauces, and just like chatted with us about like why we were there, and they knew that we were on our honeymoon, and like it was so like it was really nice. He was really wonderful, and you could tell that he really cared and that he like really enjoyed that part of his job. You know, he talked about how making food for people is like caring for people, and like making, you know, food is like love, and how he just like loves to like take care of people in that way. And it was so nice. So we had these amazingly delicious French fries were brought to us by the chef, and he chatted with us. Now, from what I could tell, the chef, or maybe like the sous chef, like other, you know, people in the kitchen go to every table and deliver the French fries and have a little bit of conversation, right? So it wasn't that he just came to our table because we were on our honeymoon or something, right? That definitely seems like it was part of the experience, which was really nice. So we enjoyed our delicious French fries, and then they cleaned that up, and then it was time for dessert. And the desserts were amazing. Super themed, right? So there was like a little macaroon that looked like a clamshell, right? It was called like Ariel's macaroon. There was cake pops that were, you know, decorated like princesses. You know, there was Rapunzel's raspberry sorbet. I mean, just, they were very on theme, and they were all delicious. They were amazing. And now this was another interesting part. So they brought Mike his whole, you know, the whole tray. It was like a 2-tier kind of thing with the desserts on them. And the person that brought it over, you know, it wasn't like our waiter, it was like a food runner, or, you know, and they said, you know, the bottom is for Mike, and they said the top was for me, you know, that these desserts were vegetarian, and that the bottom ones were for Mike. I feel like we didn't miss out on anything, right? Like he got all the desserts he was supposed to get, and then I got like kind of special ones. And this one, it didn't seem like they were different. It just seemed like they kind of were specifically like, these ones you can eat. Does that make sense? Whereas with the appetizer tower, they made different appetizers. With the desserts, it was kind of like, these ones you can eat, these ones you can't. Now I know what you're thinking. Desserts, not vegetarian? Yes. And I asked, and I knew this, but I asked the chef just to like be sure there was nothing that I was missing. But the desserts did have gelatin in them. Which, if you don't know, gelatin is made of crushed up animal bones, usually pig hooves. Sorry. Now, gelatin in a dessert, you know, I'll be honest with you, it's not something I normally think about. And so to know that the chef like took that extra care to make sure that I knew like what, you know, was and was not like safe for me to eat was really nice, because it's just not something I would have thought to ask about, even though like I know that there's gelatin in desserts and most gelatin does come from like an animal source, but you know, like I said, it's just not something I would have thought to really ask about. And so it felt really nice to know that like they made it very clear the top layer was for me and the bottom layer was for Mike. And then like the chef came over again and just like explained everything to us, you know, and to make sure that I was comfortable with all of that, which I thought was just out of this world, out of this world. The service, the cast members was just unmatched, as it should be, right? Like I said, Napa Rose, signature dining. So that's absolutely what you can expect, and that's absolutely what we got. Absolutely. So after we were done our desserts, they gave us these little buttons, Disney Princess Breakfast Adventure buttons. And then they took us outside onto another similar patio that was on the back of the restaurant to meet more princesses. This part was a little bit different than when we met Ariel, because there were other people out there. So there was like a little bit of a line, because I guess the traffic was just sort of less controlled, right? It was like as you were done your meal, they took you out there. You know, I guess they don't want people just like sitting at the table doing nothing, because there's like other people waiting for tables or whatever. So there was like a little bit of a wait, which is fine. But so we went outside on this patio. Pocahontas was out there meeting people, and that was really fun. I mean, I don't feel like you see her a lot. Not like a common character meet and greet. I actually have met her before. So that was fun now to see her in her like winter outfit, which was really cool. And I had noticed this during our meal, but it did look like the princesses swapped. I don't know if it was, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, they would swap the princesses out. Like I would see one leave and one come back, you know, you'd see them kind of walk in and out. And so we were waiting for Pocahontas, and she saw the kids in front of us, and then she left and Rapunzel came in. Now, two things happened here that I appreciated. One, because we were in line, the cast member said, "Did you want to meet Pocahontas?" Because we were in line, so like they didn't want to disappoint us or like take that away from us, which I thought was really nice, right? You guys know, you've seen meet and greets in the park, and like you wait in line, and then when it's over, it's over. Like you've missed out. But I thought that was really nice that like, you know, even though it was time to switch, like we still could have gotten a chance to meet Pocahontas, which I thought was really nice. So then they switched, Rapunzel came in. So we were the first people up to meet Rapunzel. Now, here's the second part that I really loved. All the little kids who had already moved on, right? They met Pocahontas and they were in line for the next princess, saw Rapunzel, and they all went bananas. Of course, right? And like I said, even though they were all in line for the next princess, they essentially all just like backed up. You know how moms are, right? They're just like, "Oh, okay, go, go, go." And like these people were like shoving their kids to meet Rapunzel, which is fine. We were there, like it was our turn, and these moms were like shoving their little kids in front of us. But, you know, I get it. It's a character breakfast. They're little kids. I'm not. Like, they want to meet her. You know, they didn't have the chance. I understood it. But what I liked was that the cast that were out there, like taking the pictures, stopped them and said it was fine if they wanted to meet Rapunzel, right? They could get back in line and meet her, but like they had to get back in line. And, you know, they made not a show, but they said they were like, you know, these guests are next in line to meet the princess. Like, I really felt like they were sort of like respecting like that it was our turn, even more so than I was. Like I said, I was like, okay, whatever, let these little kids go, they're excited. But I really liked that even though we were adults and like not little kids, that the cast members really made sure that we got the exact same experience that we were supposed to, and like really like prioritized us over people who were trying to butt in line just because they were little kids. So I don't know, where's that news article about the millennials, childless millennials that go to Disney? Whatever, that was us, and I liked it. So we had our time with Rapunzel. We talked about Pascal. He was not there. Took some cute pictures. And then we went on to meet our next princess. So it was just kind of on the other side of this patio. And we got to meet Cinderella, which was super fun. I had seen earlier that it was Belle or Cinderella. They kind of seemed to be switching back and forth. And I've never met Cinderella. We've met Belle before. And so I was really excited to meet Cinderella. Belle, it would have been cool because she was in her like winter costume. I've only met her in her, you know, blue dress where she like sings a song about being better than everybody else. So it would have been cool to meet her in her like winter costume, but we got to meet Cinderella. I showed her my necklace that I don't have on. But for my wedding, I had a necklace from the Disney fine jewelry collection that my dad bought me that had the Cinderella castle in it. The Cinderella castle in glass, kind of surrounded by diamonds. I'll throw a picture of it up here. But I still had that on for my wedding, and I showed her and I said, like, we just got married a few days ago and I wore your castle around my neck like while I got married, and Cindy loved it. She ate it up. I loved that. It was really sweet. So we took some pictures. The photo pass pictures are included in the price of the breakfast. So they took ours with the photo pass. We took some with our phone too. Yeah, so like I said, so outside it was either Cinderella or Belle, Pocahontas or Rapunzel. You know, I didn't see who the other princess was when we met Ariel, the first one. However, I did see Aurora like walking down the sidewalk at one point. So I have a feeling that it was Ariel or Aurora. So, and I'm okay with the fact that we didn't get to see Aurora because, like I had mentioned, you know, I've never got to meet Ariel in her green dress before. Also, if you are a child, when you leave, you get a gift bag. I could not see what was in the gift bag. It looked like a princess puzzle. Like it was literally like a gift, like a Christmas like gift bag. And I saw somebody stuffing them and it looked, I saw like a puzzle and something else. I couldn't really see what it was. I won't lie, I was a little bummed and annoyed that I didn't get one. I feel like I paid more than those little kids. I feel like every table should get one, like even if you don't have any little kids, or they should at least give you the option if you want one. I don't know. I would have wanted it, but say that it was only for the kids, but I don't like that. I don't know. So if I had a complaint, that would be it. But very minor. Now let's get to the important info. The price. The price of this breakfast is not cheap. The price of this breakfast was $125 per person for an adult. I know. I know. So, I'm not here to tell you if it was worth it or not. What I'm here to tell you is about our experience, and you can decide. I don't know your budget, I don't know your job, I don't know what you do, right? So you can decide if you want to spend that much money. I can just tell you about our experience, and you can decide if it was worth it for you, or if it would be worth it for you and your family. I will say this price point, or like this type of experience, was definitely out of our price range normally. But because it was our honeymoon, like I had mentioned in our haul video, we had lots of gift cards. And so we actually didn't have to pay like cash. Like we just used all gift cards to pay for it. So I don't know if I had to pay like dollars. I don't think I would have done it, just because it's out of my price range, not because it wasn't good. So I'll say the food, incredible. No complaints about the food. Absolutely amazing. If you have any type of restriction, allergy, whatever, like I wouldn't let that stop you in any way, because They were very accommodating. The food was delicious. The food was amazing. More than enough food to keep you full, right? I feel like sometimes you go to those fancy restaurants, it's like a joke, and they bring you like a little bite of food on a plate, and you're like, what? Not the experience. You got lots and lots of food. And we got to meet 5 princesses. Theoretically, I guess you can meet up to 6. That's a lot of princesses. That's a lot of princesses. And that's a lot of princesses without having to wait in line, without having to like run all over the place, right? So again, if you or your family or someone in your party is like really big on princesses or like character meet and greets, this is a really, really nice way to get to meet a lot of princesses. Which I loved. I like character meet and greets. I know adults feel differently about them sometimes. I love them. So the service was impeccable. The food was incredible. The character interactions were wonderful and plentiful. The whole experience was very elevated, right? I get why Napa Rose is a signature dining experience, right? It felt very premiere. It felt very elevated, right? And that was really nice. Like it was a nice little like treat thing for our honeymoon, you know? It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I think personally because of the price, I don't know if it's something that we would do again. Now, if we went out to Disneyland and we brought, our family with us and my nieces were there and they really wanted to see the princesses, you know what I mean? Like I could see, right? I could see myself going again. So if you are into princesses and you're into character interactions, I think it's a can't miss. I think if you are not into character interactions or you're not into princesses or like that's not on your list, I think that you may not feel like you got as much value out of it because, like I said, most of the food was, Mickey waffles and bacon, right? Like it was a lot of the same food that you could get at other buffets. So if you don't really value the character interaction as much, it might not be as worth it for you. I don't know. You have to, like I said, you have to decide for yourself. But I really enjoyed it. I have no complaints other than that I didn't get a gift bag. But what are you going to do? Let me know what questions you guys have. Let me know, have you ever been to this restaurant? Is this something that's like on your Disney bucket list? Something you want to do? Have you ever done it? Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, this was a great experience. This was a great meal. It was a really great morning. And I would love to just talk about it more. So let me know whatever questions you guys have. And I would love to answer them. Okay? All right, well, see you in the next one.